Welcome in, all you Wednesday weirdos. I couldn't think of anything that also alliterated on Wednesday. Welcome in. It's the live chat, BMW Championship, vroom, vroom. We are going to spend the next hour or so going through everything that you want, everything that you need for the BMW Championship. Only 49 players in this field. Who knows? We might talk about every single one of them. We'll see how this hour goes. Get your questions, your concerns, your comments in the chat right now, and I'll do my best to answer them. At least the good ones, at least the ones that are good discussion topics. Let us begin where we always begin, which is on the weather page. Owings Mills, Maryland, Caves Valley Golf Club. They're getting thunderstorms right now. They're in the midst of a flood watch right now, but should be clean the rest of the week. High 80s, low 90s, humid, very similar to last week in Memphis, I can assure you. No wind to be found. Potentially softer conditions thanks to this thunderstorm that's coming in right now. They are going to scorch this place. Now, I want to remind people that is relative. The changes have made this from a par 72 to a par 70. They've borrowed some yardage off of number 2 to make number 1 a little bit longer. They've changed some of the positions of the greens to make it a little bit more difficult. And I still think these guys are going to have their way with it. Relative to par, it'll be much harder. I put that in quotation marks. But relative to final score, I think Patrick Cantlay was 261 was the number when he won this event. Might be close to that. 261, 262, 263, something in that world. So it'll play a little bit different. It'll be a lot of fun no matter what. Ownership wise for one and done, I realize that this is likely for most of you the last week of one and done. So you are probably just playing best available, right? Just whatever you have available, best available. The way that Splash has made changes to officefootballpool.com, I can no longer get those site-wide selections. I obviously have a great relationship with Splash. I am trying to work with them to get something moving forward, probably for next year at this point, or maybe the fall, where a page like that exists. So bear with me, working on that to see if we can get something partnered up with. The way that I see it going across the industry, a lot of Cam Young, if you have him available. A lot of people have gotten to this point without using Cam Young. I obviously now would be the time to use him if that's what you have available. There is a lot of Hideki that is available, and there are still people who are looking to use Fitzpatrick here. That is under the assumption that you have not used Scotty and Rory and Xander and all of those guys, right? If you have gotten to this point without using one of those guys, you are obviously using them right now because it is probably your last chance to do just that. Let me remind you before we get into these questions that right now DraftKings is giving new customers a chance to play free for their share of millions in prizes with their first deposit on the DraftKings Daily Fantasy app. It's simple to play, y'all. Build your dream lineup while staying under the salary cap and sit back and watch as your players rack up points every birdie, every bogey, every clutch putt. Download the DraftKings Daily Fantasy app and enter promo code RickDFS to play free for your share of millions with your first deposit. That's RickDFS for new DraftKings customers. Just download the Daily Fantasy app for your free shot today. And don't forget, the crown is yours. Let's get into these questions. Garrett says, in DK, trying to use Scotty, but be different. Is everyone playing Scotty and 7K guys starting a Scotty? Got her at Vegas. Also, can Scotty win without Ted? All right. Scotty Scheffler will not have caddy Ted Scott on the bag. At home, personal issue. They have not divulged anything else. As far as I can remember, Scotty Scheffler has played 2 rounds without Ted Scott since they joined together. It was the round after the arrest at Valhalla, and it was the final round last week. Brad Payne, who is a very good friend of Scotty, and I believe he is the tour minister or chaplain, I believe, is also what he does. Or I don't know if he's the tour chaplain, but he's definitely some type of chaplain. has been on the bag in both of those scenarios. I have been at both of those rounds. I have witnessed both of those rounds. And I will tell you, first off, Brad is such a great guy. It is a little bit different for Scotty. He's got to get his own numbers. He's got to do a couple more things. The routine does look a little bit off to me. I was just there on Sunday. I thought it was a little bit different. I watched Scotty Scheffler play a lot last week. With that said, he will not have Brad on the bag this week. He is going with Chris Kirk's caddy. Chris Kirk finished 51st last week. He is not in this event. So he's going with Chris Kirk's caddy, whose name I believe is Mike. And I cannot remember Mike's last name at the moment. So I apologize, Mike. But this to me feels very different. Number one, Mike is a professional caddy. Brad is not a professional caddy. Mike is a professional caddy, and they are working together in practice rounds already this week. So they are learning from each other, knowing the process that Scotty wants to go through, the numbers that he wants to hear, how he wants to hear them, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So as valuable that I think Ted Scott is, and I think he's incredibly valuable, I do not think that this is a huge issue or any issue for Scotty this week. That is my statement on Scotty Scheffler and Ted Scott. The way that most builds are going, and this is my website, rickrungood.com. I've got the projected ownership loaded in there. About a third of all lineups are going with Scotty. That is currently less than last week. It is a smaller field. It is harder to make Scotty lineups. So you're not getting that 40% ownership like we saw on Scotty Scheffler last week at $14,200. The $2,000 price difference to Rory McIlroy is enticing a lot of people, 25% of lineup builders at this point. So what you're really seeing is Scotty, a lot of Cam Young, and then, yes, these 7K guys like a Kirk Kitayama, a Taylor Pendrith, a Maverick McNeely getting some decent run. And then you can really see the Scotty Scheffler effect on the near min priced golfers, who are Johnny Vegas, 6,100, Thomas Dietrich, 6,200, Ryan Fox, 6,200, all over 10%. That's the Scotty effect there. So to answer your question, Garrett, we are seeing a lot of Scotty and those 6K guys creating some salary cap relief. Ownership aside, is there a reason you stick with Colin this week, or is it an easy pivot to Cam Young now that he has shorter odds? I'm assuming that question, Jer, is for one and done purposes, shorter odds. I'm assuming that's the way that I'm going to answer that. And I would say, yes, you're just going to have to go this year without playing Colin Morikawa, which feels very weird and very strange, but we've got a guy who's lost strokes putting in 5 out of his last 6. As great as his approach play can be and has been, it has not been as consistent as I would like to see. And you are going to hear me probably bang the drum on Cam Young quite a bit this week. Let me see if the radar is already starting to show this. I doubt that it is, but he is, he's back to hitting the draw. Yeah, a little bit. Back to hitting a draw. That's his natural shape. Don't overthink it, Cam. He's back to hitting the draw. He started doing that a couple weeks ago. It's paying immediate dividends. The game is very, very sharp, and I think this is a place in which he is going to find a lot of success. Ludwig, JT, or Henley, pick one without knowing anything else and about what this is. I guess just give me Ludwig. Hey, Rick, are you doing media at Eastlake, or was that X post just a joke? I think an ESPN bet stream at Eastlake would have been awesome. So both. Those tweets that I put out are absolutely jokes, right? But I am going to Eastlake, right? So I just post those like when I'm going to go to an event. It looks like I'm committing to the event. I don't actually like think I'm playing in the event or anything like that. I just copy whatever the whatever the tournament posts. It says like, oh, Hideki Matsuyama has committed to the FedEx St. Jude. I just like steal that and put myself in it. I'm not taking myself that seriously. I just think it's hilarious. But I will be at Eastlake. So first time I've ever been there. It'll be a much more casual tournament for me. There is not an ESPN bet stream for that week. So I am not doing that level of media, but I will be out there chopping it up. hopefully tweeting some stuff out, maybe creating some cool videos. I don't know yet. We'll see, kind of see what happens, but I'll be out there. Already in the money in the run good one and done. Hell yeah. Do I get ballsy and take one of the following: Spawn, Novak, Fowler, or should I be conservative and take Griffin? Oh, interesting. I'll tell you what, I don't think there's a huge difference there. So I obviously love Ben Griffin, but if you want to take Ricky Fowler or JJ, like, I would be fine with that. JJ Spawn's this is a big ballpark. Although I guess he wanted Oakmont. I don't think there's a big difference here, Andrew. Griffin or Fowler, fine. Fire him up. I don't care. I think you're fine with either one of those. I think all of them are going to be pretty low owned, aren't they? So I think you're being pretty ballsy. Either way. Hey, Rick, thanks for everything. For DFS purposes, do you like Henley and Goddard or Oberg and English? All right. Probably Henley and Goddard. I talked a lot about Henley on Monday, I think. He just plays well at a bunch of different golf courses. Does not matter what golf course it is, he finds a way. Goddard, obviously he's having a great year. TPC Twin Cities, not a great spot for him, finished T10. TPC Southwind, even worse spot for him, 54th out of a 69 player field. The good news for Goddard, played really well on Sunday. So now you've got, like, he's played 3 bad rounds in 6 months, and they were at a golf course that was a pretty bad setup for him. This place is going to let him tap into that big boy driver and just cut it loose everywhere. So I like that side of things. DFS, Rory, Cam. Okay. Rory and Cam. Wait, I'm sorry. Rory, Cam Young, and Harry Hall, or Ludwig, Victor, Griffin. I think it's pretty clearly Rory, Cam Young, Harry Hall. 2 million back in one and done. This week is worth more than next week, as next week is 25%. I have Rory and Xander. Oh, interesting. So both of them are elite at Eastlake. So which one of them is better here, considering that this is worth more? Chris, you should probably play. I would play Rory this week, Xander next week. Watch this. Let's do this. Let's go to the Holy Grail. Load for me, baby. I've got my screen recorder up. Sometimes it takes a second. I'm going to do Eastlake. So let's do this. Eastlake. Everybody in this field. I bet you they're 1 and 2. Yeah, I mean, with at least 7 starts. Xander, 1.6 strokes gained per round. Rory, 1.3 and 10 starts. Yeah, I would go Rory here, Xander there. And I think that's right, because I want Rory in my bigger money spot, and Xander's been better there. So yeah, I think that's right. In the money and one and done, Spawn, Young, or Goddard up. I'll tell you, James, that basically anywhere that I've had Cam Young available, I've played. I think it's a good spot, good timing, and I don't really care about much else. That's about it. Here's a model. Here's Chris's model. So this is the custom model, rickrungood.com. Last 50. Okay. Chris is looking for par threes over 225 yards. So hold on. How many? 1, 2. Oh, all 25%. Okay, got it. So 25% on long par threes, 25% on putting on bent, 25% on total driving, and 25% on bogey avoidance. So Chris's model returns Scotty Scheffler 1, actually a 1 and a 1A. 82.65 score for both Scotty Scheffler and Harris English. Rory McIlroy, number 3. Fitzy, Lowry, Fleetwood, Henley, Burns, Morikawa, and there's that man, Harry Hall again. Thoughts on going with a team no putt build? I see a lot of value there this week in particular. New greens, pure greens. Sure. I'm happy with that. You're never going to have to convince me to do a team no putt build. Jay says, can you do a deep dive on Connors? I'm torn between him or Fitzpatrick for top 20. I think we're going with Fitzpatrick. The thing that I see about Corey Connors, I mean, it's pretty vintage Corey Connors, struggling in the short game categories, struggling with the putter. The tee to green play is a little bit weird. He lost strokes at Southwind, which is nuts. Picked up 10 at the Open. Lost 1.3 at the Scottish Open. So, like, what is happening here? And then he was basically neutral, a little bit of a positive at Oakmont. I'm going to probably pass on that and take on Fitzpatrick. Can we get some deep dives near the bottom? Yeah, so I'll just tell you right here at the bottom. A couple of items here. The guys that I like most at the bottom. Bridgman is $6,400. Okay, Jacob Bridgman. He has been good enough. Well-rounded enough. Putter's very good. He can gain from tee to green, get himself inside the top 20% of the field. If we got a T15 out of Jacob Bridgman this week in a 49-person field, we would probably be pretty happy. The other ones at the bottom, Ryan Fox is $6,200. Ryan Fox is a big-time ball speed guy. I think that's going to be important this week. If you look at the radar and the leaders of the radar, there's only a handful of guys that are like 180 miles an hour worth of ball speed in this field. That's a big number. He is the last guy, 180.6. There's like 8 of them. Just big-time mover of the golf ball, reliable left to right shot shape. Love the way he plays. Did not love the way he played at the Wyndham or at Southwind. I think this is a better spot for him, and he did play better on the weekend at Southwind. He gained strokes on both rounds on Saturday and Sunday. The other one is, of course, Johnny Vegas. Johnny Vegas is, excuse me, sorry, I was up at 4:00 this morning, right in the Run Good Rundown. Johnny Vegas is right here in this sweet spot of the breakout candidates tool. Siwoo Kim is almost in a spot where you're like, holy crap, the putter is lost. Johnny Vegas and Akshay are right in this sweet spot where they are hitting it above their baseline and tee to green and putting below their baseline. How can Johnny Vegas be putting below his baseline? He's a very bad putter. Well, he is. The good news is that despite him losing strokes consistently with the putter, he still once or twice a week can have a good putting week. So it's not completely lost. Like you click Siwoo's profile and it's just completely dark red all over the place. So those would be the 3 that I think I'm probably most excited about at the bottom. First round leaders. I'll do it this way. Power rankings. I feel like I've done this before. How often they gain strokes to the field and what percentage of them. Last 50 rounds, guys that gain 5 or more strokes to the field in a single round. Scotty does it 26%. Chris got her up, right? Chris got her up. Good fit. Good golf course. Only behind Scotty Scheffler in terms of gaining strokes 5 or more in terms of frequency. Let's say Chris Gotterup is your first round leader. Ludwig, who plays better this week? Ludwig or Ben Griffin? I think this is a better spot for Ben, but these guys are still, on different planets. It's been a very inconsistent year for Ludwig, but it's been a very good and consistent 2 months for Ludwig. The driver is incredible. The approach play is incredible. So we've got, significant ball striking gains in 7 straight. Significant. The rest of his game is starting to get tidied up a little bit. Last 3 starts, T8 at the Scottish, T23 at the Open, and kind of a sneaky T9 at TPC Southwind. So I love these guys, but, let's keep in mind the prowess of Ludwig. Look at this one. It's from Mina. She says she's barely, wow, you're in the money in the one and done. She's barely in the money in the Rick Run Good one and done. The highest ranked golfer I have is Henley. Should I take him or go for a lower owned Fowler? Answer this as Rick Run Good and not as my husband. Thanks. Okay. Well, All right, Beta. So the highest golfer you have available is Henley. Should you take him or go with a lower owned Fowler? I feel like if I get this wrong, I'm gonna have to pay for this. You should probably stick with Henley. I think that let me see if I have a way to look this up. I think a lot of people have used Henley, and I do not think you are going to. I think both of them are going to be low owned. Let me just check something real quick. Henley has already been used by, like 60% of the industry. So I don't think you're going to be too popular there. I would roll out Russell Henley. Good luck and have a great show. Now I got to go back to my spot because I went to hers first. Let me find it. First round leaders, I did that. Okay. $6,000 questions. You liked Bridgman, Fox, and Vegas. Okay, wow, boom. Perfect timing. You liked Bridgman, Fox, and Vegas in the Monday, Tuesday videos, indeed. Greg's like Dietrich. I think he's nuts. I mean, yeah, you nailed it. You nailed it here, Ben. I like Bridgman, Fox, Vegas. I don't like Dietrich the way that he likes Dietrich. So the lowest that I would go is Foxy, who's $6,200. Or I'm sorry, Vegas 6,100. I'm not playing Hoagie. I'm not playing Campbell. I'm not playing Michael Kim. The best way to combine your larger approach buckets, the best way to, okay. Robert says he wants long iron play. So I mean, we could do this a couple ways. Let's just do it this way. Let's just go to the model and just start putting approach bucket. Like, let's just do this, right? Let's just do 50 on 175 to 200, 50 on 200 to 225. Hovland, 1. Scotty, 2. Ludwig, 3. This all makes sense, right? Kitayama, 4. Hoagie, 5. Cam Young, Colin Morikawa, Siwoo Kim, Bud Cauley, Lucas Glover. I see that Rory McIlroy is a fan of your plan to change the FedEx Cup playoff rules. He mentioned it in the press conference today. He didn't mention my name, right? That didn't happen. He just mentioned like the plan. It's a great plan. If you haven't heard the plan is very simple. Get rid of the FedEx Cup points in the playoffs at Memphis out of 70. If you finish inside the top 50 on the leaderboard, you move on. If you finish inside the top 30 at this event, you move on, and then you play the Tour Championship straight up. It's very, very simple. Here's the other thing. As much as everybody wants match play, it's not going to happen. I'm sorry. I want match play too. I think it would be sick. It's not going to happen. Number one, you're not going to get buy-in from the players who have played stroke play for 48 events, and then the championship is match play. Okay. It would be like the NBA finals going to 3-on-3. It is not going to happen. Number two, it is not going to happen because match play is very bad for television, and the TV networks have a massive say in what happens. That is not going to happen. You also then, of course, run the risk of getting Bud Cauley versus Lucas Glover in the finals. It is not going to happen. So my plan is the best plan without blowing this whole thing up, because they're not going to blow the whole thing up. Okay. They're not going to start from scratch. They're not going to do it. It would be admitting serious defeat, and it would be confusing, and it would be whatever. They're not going to do that. My plan is a very simple tweak that would make the entire thing infinitely better. I will have to go read that. I did not see what Rory said. I will have to go look at that. 25th at a 1 and done out of 400. Nice. Top 10 get paid. All the big names have been used. Any lean on? All right. So the options are here. These are all pretty good options. Spawn, Henley, Goddard, Hovland, Burns, Hideki. I like most of these guys. Probably not Spawn. Sorry, JJ. I mean, dude, if you have Hovland, I think you have to play Hovland. He played his final 3 rounds last week were awesome. Okay. I think I can show you that. Got off to a really bad start. He was awesome the rest of the week. Long irons, if we like that, Hovland. Total driving, if we like that, Hovland. I think he's the one that you use. I have no problem if you want to use Goddard or Henley or Hideki either. I'm probably just ruling out crossing off Spawn, probably crossing off Burns. Hey, Rick, on Monday you mentioned empirically that Rory comes into tournaments from an off week not playing his best. Did I say that? I might have said that. Were you able to quantify that? No. I honestly forgot about it. I will write that on my list and see what I can find. It is something that I've thought about before, so it's not completely like foreign. I've chewed on it for a bit, but no, I admittedly, Tyler, forgot. So I will figure that out. Have to pick a winner to have a chance. Are we picking Fleetwood? Young, although that face for Young, I guess, would have been a better eye roll had he not won a couple of weeks ago. Goddard or Hovland? Yeah, I mean, here's the deep dive on Hovland, right? I mean, I think he seems close. Am I biased there? I don't know. The first round at Southwind was horrible. The last three were really good. Scottish Open was great. Open Championship, not so much. I don't usually beat guys up for that. Golf courses that are demanding off the tee, Oakmont, especially long and demanding, he usually plays well at. I'm bullish here. I'm bullish. If you're looking for a winner, it's Hovland or Young. Congrats on the TPC trip. Thank you. Dane, I've already answered the rest of this question, but here's the thing. If you don't know what this is, we had that golf bet competition last week. I honestly smoked them. Okay. It was a handicapping competition, 25 units over the course of the week. I don't know if I actually smoked them, but I beat them up pretty good. I had them all. So it came down to the final day. I had them all boxed out. No way they could beat me with the way that I played it. I'm the king. I'm the man. No, okay. I guess I'll draw a line somewhere there. But yes, I win a trip to TPC Sawgrass. I'm very much looking forward to it. And Armina is, I guess, gonna be my +1. She wants to come. I think she'll love it. I want to see what she does on 17. Could you imagine? Could you imagine if she aced 17? Could you imagine? She'd be out there like running around like a crazy kook. What else do we have here? I lost my spot. Oh, crap. Mina, where's my spot? Here we go. Novak or Harman this week? Novak. The general rule that no cut events favor better golfers seems widely accepted and established by now, but could a case be made for studying whether it's an individual trait that only some have? Yes, that is something I can add to my off-season projects. Third, whoa, out of 460 in my one and done. So you can go anywhere from 10th to second. I have Henley, Griffin, and Spawn. Oof. I mean, I'm as split as Pool Genius. I think I'll roll out Spawn. I think that's fair. Who do I trust the most? Henley, probably. I think I trust Henley the most. Looking for some good plays. I was thinking Gerard Fox would be pivot. Yeah, in on Fox. Let's do the Gerard deep dive. Okay. I think we're going to see a very team no putt profile. The only thing I don't like about this is the post-win hangover, which is something, as we have documented, like a lot, right? The guy gets his first win and goes, oh, mission complete. Well, misses the cut at the Wyndham after that. Didn't really hit it all that well. T44 at the FedEx St. Jude. Didn't drive it well. Oh, it never putts it well. So as much as I love the dude, we might need a reset. We might need a reset on Gerard coming into the fall. Currently, 124th in the run and done, and 5th in my 60 man. Wow. The question is, Kitayama, Decky, or Colin, I'll tell you what. I think the answer is Hideki. If you want to play Kurt Kitayama, I'm in on this. Let me just do the Kurt Kitayama deep dive because I want to do it. So since the Texas Open, he has destroyed the golf ball. Look at these approach numbers. Last 36 rounds, he's second in approach only to Scotty Scheffler. The putter is heated up in the last 3. He's got to win. He's got more to do. He's got more to play for. I love everything about this. Like, Kitayama, baby. Let's ride. With compacted ownership this week in DFS, how are you looking to get weird? I would say if you're looking to get weird, you could conceivably skip the 9K range. The 10K range. I don't think it's that crazy. The Scotty Scheffler issue is you've got to play some real duds to get him in there. The Rory issue is that if he doesn't play well, Rory is the star who, kind of has bigger range of results. If he doesn't play well because it's his first start and he's looking forward to East Lake, like I don't think that would be that big of a deal. Like literally doesn't. I know there's $3.6 million for first, but there is very little for Rory to play for this week. In his eyes, he already skipped Memphis. He's going to be at East Lake. I'm sure he would like to play well and get 3.6 million, but we already have a motivation issue with Rory. So then it's Xander Fleetwood, who are having subpar years. Well, I shouldn't say that. Tommy Fleetwood at 10,400. Do I want to buy that? And Xander is having a subpar year. What if you just went like Ludwig Cantlay? I'm sorry, Ludwig Cam Young. What if you just started like that? Or what if you just started with Cam Young? I don't think it's that crazy. And you just built up a lot of win equity in the 9s and 8s. It's not bad. Yo, Rick, shout out from joining Texas. Howdy, James. Hope you're having a great day. That was my Texas accent. You're $600,000 out of the money. Your options are Fleetwood, Shane, Bobby Mack, and Batia or Colin. Yeah, just play Colin, I guess. This kind of stinks, but just play him. Young or more of a flyer like hometown boy Denny McCarthy. I don't think you should play Denny. The hometown thing is not a real thing. Who has more win equity? The guy who nearly won last week, has been in 2 playoffs this year, and has a major championship, or Matt Fitzpatrick? I guess we're going to go with JJ Spawn. I love Matt Fitzpatrick, but JJ Spawn's a much better player. Bud Cauley deep dive. I feel like I'm on the verge of getting stuck in this Texas accent right now. I can feel it. I can feel it coming. Alpha Moves becomes a YouTube member. Thank you, Alpha Moves. Appreciate that. I need my goal. I'm going to say this out loud so that I hold myself accountable. And Mina's watching. Number 1, I think I'm going to lose 10 pounds this year. Number 2, I am going to do a better job on Slack, and I'm going to do a better job with my YouTube memberships. I'm open to suggestions on both of those things. I do the vlogs that I release to the, like I have a Memphis vlog coming up that I release to the members first. And I always prioritize the questions and comments, but I do really like the YouTube ecosystem. I like to be able to post things and have polls and comments and, outside of just videos. So I need to do better there. Let me know what you guys think. What kind of perks can I offer you? What kind of perks could I offer YouTube members? I want to do better. All right. Bud Cauley, deep dive. Yeah, that's another thing, Mina. Okay, real quick. I screwed up on this. When we started the Second Cut podcast and we started it as Patreon, I screwed up. We should have started it as YouTube memberships. So we're probably going to have to move people over. There's a lot more we can do if you're just on YouTube as opposed to having to go through Patreon first. So if you're a subscriber to the memberships on Second Cut or on Patreon, I'm probably going to have to move you to memberships at some point. That'll come after the Tour Championship, but let me know. Okay. Here's the Bud Cauley deep dive. $6,300, about 5% projected ownership. The worry that I have is we got a pretty peak performance last week. 4.2 strokes on approach, another 1.7 with the putter, and he still finished T14. Got off to that really good start, faded the rest of the week. I think the upside is very limited in this field. I think this is a much worse golf course for him than TPC Southwind was. I think that there are guys that it's not exclusive, but if you only play well at TPC Southwind, I think this is good. Like, this is going to be kind of an opposite thing for you. I lost my spot again. I also need to figure out a way to keep my spot. Here we go. If you were to give someone a rundown of needed skills and best golfers for those skills, what would you say? For this week, I would say distance off the tee, approach play, birdie or better, and maybe even long golf courses. And who would those people be? Well, if only there were a way for me to do that. So let's do it. So I said driving distance, birdie or better. I said long golf courses. And I said, I'm sure I said approach play. Last 36. I bet you Kurt Kitayama was within the top 5. He's 8th. Rory McIlroy, Justin Thomas, Scotty Scheffler, Sam Stevens, believe it or not. Keegs, Xander, Harry Hall, Kurt Kitayama, Ben Griffin, Matt Fitzpatrick. August is Glover time. Is this too long for him to contend? I think so, brother. Is Sungjae back? Wow. That would be news to me. If Sungjae were back, that would be news to me. No, he is not. Boy, no, he's not. This is Jesus. This is God, Sungjae. He has lost strokes on approach. Oh my God. In all but 2 events since the Cognizant. He gained 0.1 at the Masters. He gained 0.4 at the Wyndham. That is it. He doesn't have a... Oh my God. I'm sorry. Play Cam Young, Taylor. It says Taylor or Hideki. Just play Cam Young. Batia or Goddard up? Goddard up. Can you run a model that leans heavy on driving accuracy around the greens and putting outside of 10 feet? Okay. Okay, I can do that. I can do that, Mr. Vincent. What are we doing? Driving accuracy. Around the green. This is definitely a model I have not run this week. So I will give Vincent props for that. A model that I have not run this week. Whoops. What I'll do, Vincent, is I'll do this. Oh God. Sungjae's number 1. Henley's number 2. Scotty's 3. How can Scotty be number 1 in all the distance, accuracy, or excuse me, distance, approach, short putts? How can he be number 1 in that model and also number 3 in this model? Because he's the best player in the world and it's not remotely close. Oh, okay. Keegan 4, Poston 5, Glover 6, Fleetwood 7, Siwoo 8, Fitzpatrick 9, Nick Taylor 10. By the way, that means like Henley, Scheffler, and Keegan are in basically both types of models. Not in on Dietrich Omar, just very inconsistent, has not shown much for me as of late. Pick 3. I would go Cantlay, Kitayama, and Goddard, and I would leave Burns and Sungjae on the sideline. This produced 3 of 4 round leaders last week. Oh boy. All right, let's do it. So this is Be the Man 32's model. We are going to do Last 32. Okay, it's a very specific number. 25 on strokes gained approach. Okay. 20 on driving accuracy. 20 on driving distance. 15 on strokes gained putting. 10, I think that's supposed to say around the green. 10 around the green. 10 on history. I don't even know if I have Caves Valley in here, brother. Let's see. Yeah, I don't have Caves Valley. So let's just do long courses. So be the man. Oh my God. Scotty Scheffler is just absolutely number one, and it's not even close. Scotty, Fleetwood, Fitzpatrick, Burns, Griffin, Hideki, Connors, Young, Rory, Cantlay. I'm 84th and one and done. I think only 3 or 4 people ahead of me have Fleetwood. Eric, if you're going for broke, play him. I do love having a clear path. So if that's what if you want a clear path to the top, play him. If you don't, play Cam Young. How can you realistically win the big money tournaments when a lot are using some type of sims, only 49 golfers? Duplicate lineups will be way more common. You want to know how? Seriously? Do you want to know how? Okay. I'm going to show you how. Here's what you're going to do. You're going to go to the custom model. You're going to make all your little inputs. And then what you're going to do is you're going to come down here and you are going to change the salary range to limit you to only lineups that spend $48,000 right down here. And you're going to say, Rick, are you a freaking crazy person? And I'm going to say, no, I'm not a crazy person, because I'm going to show you that last week, the optimal lineup was 46,300. The week before that, the optimal lineup was 45,400. The week before that, the optimal lineup was 47,100. The week before that, the optimal lineup was 47,700. The week before that, the optimal lineup was 49,100. Okay, you get my point. I could go back however many weeks you want. The optimal lineup often is like nowhere near $50,000. It is the easiest way to be different, because everybody who runs lineups and everybody who hand builds lineups spends $50,000, $49,900 or $49,800. Maybe you get to $49,500. Just set it to $48,000. Feels dirty at first, doesn't it? Yeah, it feels real dirty. Feels real dirty at first. You get used to it, though. It's like doing drugs. No, I'm just kidding. Don't do drugs. It's just, it's like it feels like you're just sinning just a little bit. It's not as bad as drugs, though. Vegas or Novak? Vegas. Can we do a deep dive on Shane Lowry? We can. Oh, by the way, while I have this up. So our listener league contest this week is about 70% full, right? 736 out of 1,100. So there's 400 spots to go. Get in on this, please. Let's fill this so that we can get like $50,000 a week next year. Let's fill this up. It is back in California. If you were having an issue with Splash in California the last couple weeks, I feel you. It's back. Okay. So no more excuses. Let's ride. Shane Lowry. Spelled his name wrong. Still pops up. I don't think you're going to like this. Yeah, you're not. He's lost multiple strokes on approach in multiple strokes tee to green in 3 out of his last 4. The putter has not been good in 5 out of 7. The results are very poor. Out. Okay. Which guys in the field do you think won't have a chance to do well this week? This could make me look stupid. How does Brian Campbell not finish dead last in this golf tournament? I love Brian Campbell. I hit it farther than Brian Campbell sometimes. I know that he won in Mexico. I don't know how he won in Mexico. Wouldn't it be? What if he wins this thing? That would be absolutely crazy. I have no idea how Brian Campbell wins this golf tournament or even like contends in this golf tournament. I hope he does. It would be so sick. But just like no chance, right? No chance? I don't know. Rank the following. I don't know what this is for, but I will rank them as Fox Vegas Novak Bridgman. Yes, I spent a lot of oxygen on TV last week. Well, that's fun to say. Talking about Ricky Fowler and Akshay Bhatia and how they were sustainable. Okay, so I got asked a lot about this after the opening round for Akshay because he went out and shot that 62. And my assessment was what he did was sustainable. Gained, yes, I understand he gained 5 strokes on approach, but the putter was not the reliable aspect of that. Ends up finishing T6, hangs around, putts pretty poor on Sunday, but all in all, very, very good stat profile. I think that's sustainable. Ricky Fowler, this is like breakout candidate. Like we are on the verge. Rubber band's about to snap. Dude's about to win. That might be much, but like this is a great profile. He's sitting in a beautiful spot on the breakout candidates chart. Like, yeah. Card for this week. Let me pull it up to make sure I can get you the right numbers. While I'm doing that, don't bet what I bet. It's your money. Do whatever you want. Don't do what I want. I don't know your risk tolerances. I don't know anything like that. Okay. Just do whatever you want. The way that I spent my money, Cam Young, Doi, Hideki, Kurt Kitayama. That's the card. I also bet Victor Hovland at 40-1 because, I bet him like 99% of the time. Cantlay left in one and done. He's 13% available. Is he a good pick for the last week? Yeah. If I would prefer Cam Young. If you don't have Cam Young available, then Cantlay's and I assume you've used all your big boys, then Cantlay is fine. What days are you going to be at East Lake? Every day, starting on Wednesday through Sunday. Unless anybody wants to play golf. If anybody wants to play golf in Atlanta, I'm available. It have to be very early in the morning so that I can get to the golf course still. But if you want to host your boy Rick Rudgood at your very fancy private club, I am now available. But it has to be like the first tee time of the day. All right. Do not put your mortgage on Hideki, but I agree with the assessment that he is brewing. Hideki does not foreshadow his wins or his great play. And this approach stuff is disgustingly good since Oakmont. Just disgustingly good. The putter has actually been very strong. We've got to keep it in play off the tee, which I think he can do this week. I love what Hideki is doing. Obviously, I just told you, Brinks, I bet him. So I'm with you here, but I did not bet my mortgage on him. Oh for 20 on every guy you chose last week. Well, that's news to me, Infinity Link. I didn't know I choose guys. It's basically the antithesis of what I do. I literally just fire up the stats and beg you to do whatever you want. So I think you've lost the plot, my friend. The crown is yours. That's right. That's what I always say. Xander may not be there next week. He's got to play good golf. Yeah, he is not inside the top 30. He's got to play good golf. Did you end up getting any barbecue in Memphis? It's about all I got. Yeah, we went to Rendezvous. I went to a bunch of places. I ate more ribs last week than I have in a long time. All very good. I had barbecue spaghetti for the first time. Shockingly good. I went to the Barbecue Stop, I think it's called. They believe they are the proprietors and the creators, the originators of barbecue spaghetti. It was honestly pretty good. But oh, I'm sorry. Now I understand the question. Yes, William, this is an excellent point. And I apologize. This is from a question like an hour ago. The problem with waiting to use Xander for next week is that he might not be there next week. 100%. Great call. Yes, I don't have it in front of me what his minimum finish needs to be, but this is a valid point. And if you do not feel comfortable doing that, play Xander this week. So that Xander Rory question from like 45 minutes ago, great call, William. Oh my gosh. Okay. How many units did you end up on the weekend? So it's funny. So the way that I did this, so my final wagers on Sunday were solely to block out the rest of the crew. So I put 2 of my units on Spawn to win to block that. I put 2 of my units on Novak without Tommy and without Scotty to block that. I put half a unit on Tommy Fleetwood over 4.5 in case he won. I needed a tiebreaker. And I had a half a unit on Rosie to ensure I would win there. What I learned is that by the time the tournament was in its conclusion, it didn't matter who won. I already had it locked up because earlier in the day, Cam Young came through on a top 10, which I had at 6-1 after round 1. I had the over on 262.5 as the winning score, which won. Russell Henley finished inside the top 20. I had a Scheffler Henley parlay, Scheffler top 10, Henley top 20 parlay that won. So when I did my calculations the night before, this is that golf bet competition, by the way. When I did my calculations the night before, I did it with the assumption that I had lost all of those. When I won all of those, it didn't matter who won the golf tournament. Any of the big 4 winning, I had it locked up. So I don't know the final number, but it was over. It was over. It was over when Henley finished inside the top 20. Third in a 1 and done league. Colin, Victor, or Rose? Victor. Underdog top 10.5 round 1 lock. No such thing as a top 10 lock or as a lock, but Cam Young. Michael Kim sleeper. I do not believe so. Who do you like as a dark horse this week? Johnny Vegas or Jacob Bridgman? This is interesting. Members only DK tournaments. Can I do that? Maybe. Super random, but whatever happened to Brendan Todd? Well, I mean, he's old. Not old, but like older. And he was not a modern player, right? He's Brian Campbell 1.0. Very short off the tee, very accurate. And now the game asks for a lot more speed. I need to pick one from each. Rory, Ludwig, and Xander. Rory. Cantlay, Griffin, Cam Young. Cam Young. Batia, Novak, Fowler. Fowler. If you could take anyone in 1 and done, who would you take this week? Scotty? Non-Scotty edition, I would take... God, I'm just sick. I would take Cam Young. That's so stupid, but I would do that. Thank you for the support. TC San Fran Fan 1 says, bunch of losers. Thumbs down, thumbs down, thumbs down. I don't know what he's referring to. Hopefully it's me. Is Vegas safe? Wait, what? Oh, I thought we were talking about Johnny Vegas. Are you talking about the city of Las Vegas? Is Vegas safe? Where do I avoid if traveling? Oh, east of the 215. What's east of the 15? East of the 215? You don't need to go there. You don't need to go there. Everywhere else is pretty much fine. This is one of my number one feature requests on Splash, to have them show us how many people ahead of us have used each golfer. Xander needs a solo 21st or better. All right, he's probably going to be in for next week. Glover or Taylor, round one? Taylor. Bradley or McNeely? McNeely. Bradley's a little broken at the moment. Anyone carrying significant ownership around their peers besides... no, it doesn't matter that much, Garrett. Not especially not in a field where you're playing as much. Are you and Andy Lack still on good terms? I guess so. Just as everybody else. I don't see why we're on bad terms. I've got no issues. Thank you, Rick. It's all on you now. No, it's not. It's all on you now. I don't ever want it on me now. I just do the analysis. You click the buttons. I don't want to be involved for your wins or your losses. Just like do your own thing. That's so funny. All right. I'm going to stop there. My email newsletter went out this morning. The contest for Splash is up right now. You're all very sweet. I love you all. I will see you later. Goodbye.